All right. Hello, everyone. Why do you got to do that? Come on, boy. There you go. Did Jenny fall in the well again? There we go.
Yeah. Honestly, at this point, I think we got to start with
always
delay.
happens, honestly.
Just Brock, you just stare, just dead-eyed into the camera, saying,
How much?
Just do the.
And then hi.
Hello, everybody.
This town needs an enema. Okay. Can someone tell me when a man dressed like a bat gets all my press?
My press.
This town needs an enema. I love that line when I was a kid and I had no fucking idea what it meant.
I know. I didn't know what it meant either the first time.
Okay. So, yeah. We're back with the podcast. We're back doing what we need to do. And we're going to go through our weeks. And then I think I'm going to introduce a new...
Hey, Umbreon.
I'm going to introduce a new, what I want to say, chunk to the podcast. It's going to be kind of like this is free for all. We get this all there, but this will be a new thing where we drop it in, where each person gets one thing to drop into that special bucket, and we're all going to share to see who has the comparative worst winner in that category. And we'll let the people watching decide. But all right, let's go through weeks here. Bree, how's your week?
Honestly, kind of like a roller coaster. Like, I'm getting stuff done. I had a cyst removed yesterday, so that was super duper fun. And I almost have this one project nailed down, and it's just honestly, it's crazy. Like, I don't know if I'm gumming or going with stuff. I don't have it yet, but I should have it by next week. I'm getting my Steel Book 4K of Arcane, so I will probably show that off during next week's show.
Nice.
Awesome.
Fiona, how was your week?
Week's been a little bit up and down. Feeling some anxiety for the big ass storm Milton coming our way. In the state that I currently reside.
Where are you guys located landmass wise?
I am in Central, so it should hopefully not hit as bad as as
if you're on the West Coast,
on the coastline and stuff.
Screwed. Yeah, because my one buddy, he's over in Miami. I mean, they're not expecting much, but it's still like when the Waffle House is closed, like shit's fucked.
Yeah, exactly. But I have very close friends that I love very much. That are
Did they just say something like it's the most powerful a storm is able to get with the like temperature and that the water like?
Yeah. It's pretty bad. It's pretty bad, honestly. But so facing some anxiety because of that. So dark humor is kind of it's kind of my lifeline right now. So if I make jokes about dying, don't take me seriously. Hopefully, but that's why I streamed today. I was like, well, this might be it. But anyway, I'm just, if you see me on the news with a shotgun shooting into the storm, then you know that things have gone really bad. And then, it's just like, I'm at the point where I'm like, I will be that Florida man for you. I will be that Florida man.
Are the Gators going to give you an assist?
Maybe they will. Maybe both the football team and the animal, and the reptiles. But anyway, I just think, I think this week has been actually pretty good. It's been all right for me. It's, yesterday was kind of a shit day, and like 3 days prior to that was kind of hard to get through. But other than that, it's been okay. One of the wettest we've seen from the standpoint of water. That's funny.
Brianna.
I just think that it's been an okay time. So all things considered, I've been through worse and I've been through better, but not bad.
Nice.
Her Bloober team messed up Silent Hill 2, by the way, Brock.
Yeah, they didn't put the Comic Sans on the sign.
But I heard it's like one enemy type in the first couple hours of the game or something.
I don't know exactly. I don't know exactly what it is.
That's what I heard.
I know that the mannequins are a billion times worse to deal with. Like there's, did you ever see that picture of like the golden retriever and the like fake wolf? Like that meme photo? That's what it is. The mannequins in one versus the other versus the old game versus the new one.
Oh man.
I've actually, and hey, credit where credit is due. I have been said on this podcast, on Renegade Arcade, I'm pretty sure on every podcast there was, where I was completely ready for that game to be a pile of shit. It's awesome. So
apparently
that blooper team can adapt something well.
Maybe.
I'll give them that. So,
maybe it's possible. Anyway.
Yeah. But my week has been all right. I'm back to streaming finally. I took a long anxiety and self-esteem riddled break from that. I had gotten a part that I didn't know I was going to be able to find for my Virgil cosplay.
Sweet.
I love Capcom. I really do. But they have this thing with their DMC characters where they make them, especially in the last one, where they make them normal, but somehow extra at the same time. And it's in Virgil's always been that person. Well, no, just extra as in I know. Need to be cool looking.
Yeah.
Why this thing? Like Virgil, I got his coat, super easy. The vest came with it, super easy. Finding the boots that were long enough with a simple enough pattern, that was hard. But then I needed to find these calf bracers that like are only worn by like horse riders. Like Virgil never rides a horse. But like I'm looking for these things online, and like a cheap version of them for like high quality, like world-class horse riders is like super expensive.
I bet.
This fucking extra ass classy motherfucker has to have these things. So I'm looking and I'm finding these cheap versions everywhere and I'm returning them like, oh, I can't find these anywhere. And then like I found a boot that has like the clip thing to the side of it normally, but I like found really nice long boots. So like I really want to get ones that match it. And then I finally was just dicking around on Amazon and I found them like, those look like they might be it. And they actually had measurements for ones like the other ones didn't. I looked and I got it all in and it looks perfect. I'm just waiting on Yamato, his katana, to come in, or cosplayer in Canada's making for me. I'm pretty excited about that. I've been watching more Mob Psycho. That's been really good.
Nice.
Reigen Arataka might be one of my favorite anime characters of all time. If either of you two watch Mob Psycho,
I've watched a bit of it.
Okay, so a little bit. Reigen Arataka, Kiona, is basically a con artist that runs an exorcism shop.
As you do.
So, like, and then Mob is this unbelievably powerful psychic slash Esper. And he gets in these situations where he has to lie his ass off through this stuff and be like, no, this didn't work with this thing, and like whatever, and then this and that, and then just Mob handles everything. But then it gets to be later in seasons where you have a narrator for almost everything. And then I can't remember what Reigen calls it, but he does this something drop kick where it's just a drop kick. That's all it is. And then the narrator goes, this is also one of Reigen Arataka's special delinquents where he drop kicks the enemy when he's irritated. Like it's the most extraordinary thing for the simplest, stupidest shit.
I love that.
His special move at the beginning of the thing was throwing pocket salt at ghosts to try and purify them.
Nice.
But that's going really good. I'm trying to get everything ready for the con that I have at the end of this month / beginning of the next month. So that getting everything ready for when I take my time off for my next tattoo, and just trying to not be in a lull of not doing things that I like. I kind of got into one of those recently where I don't realize that I was in my house for 6 hours and actually didn't do a thing. Like come home from work, it'll be 10 o'clock and literally nothing happened. And not for lack of someone making me not do it. My body just went, no, you're not doing anything today. And I'm like, I've been doing that for 2 months. What the fuck's going on? So getting better with that. But yeah.
It happens, man. Believe me, it does.
All right. So on to our topics. All right. We're going to have to move this one into the new one because I'm just going to call it stupid things for right now because that's the best thing that I can come up with. Stupid things. And Keona will like this one. Or I should. Oh, he'll hate
I have a good name for it. What about Twitch shit?
I just gotta come up with something where I want to say it. I wanted to call it like incel details or something like that, but I need to find something.
Or the incel files, and you could play the X Files theme song.
Files from the incels. We'll figure out something. We're gonna make that work. All right, and I want to I know I can bring up videos like graphics and stuff to come up through that. I want to get more fancy with this. We will eventually. All right, so we're gonna start off with buy or sell here. We don't have a ton of them. This is a shorter end of the podcast, but hey, weekly podcast during election season, then I don't cover things that are political. You're not going to have as much to talk about. But okay, so Keona, buy or sell that Amber Midthunder from Prey has been cast in the 2nd season of Monarch: Legacy of Monsters.
Okay, I did not watch Monarch, but I really like Amber Midthunder. Okay, I think I lost my Apple TV Plus subscription, so that probably is why. But anyway, anywho, it's fine. It's fine.
Means. And also,
I can access it through other means. I just never got around to it.
Shogun is great in it.
Oh yeah, she is in that. Oh my gosh, yes, you're right. But anyway, Amber Midthunder, though, I really like her as an actress, and I think she's really good. So I will. I've been a fan of her since Legion, man. So I think that she's very talented, and I loved her in Prey. I think she's going to do very well in anything that they cast her in. So yeah, I buy it, definitely.
Honestly, she should have been getting more leads after Prey, but
totally.
Whatever, it's happening now. And honestly, I couldn't think of a more appropriate show, especially since the show now has a pedigree. Of turning out different stars, and also it's Godzilla's show. It's honestly, Legacy of Monsters is honestly probably one of the better aspects of the MonsterVerse. It's so tightly written, and it's kind of I mean, I like the direction the MonsterVerse is now, but I kind of wish it was more consistently written like this. Because I think one of the writers on Legacy of Monster is actually one of the writers on Arcane.
Oh,
yeah. And
really?
God, I'm forgetting her last name. I'm pretty sure she wrote on that too.
Okay, cool.
Interesting.
Nice. Very well written show, Arcane. So yeah.
All right. I don't know how much Bree knows about this. So I'll ask Keona first. Keona, buy or sell that they're finally having an active sequel to Alien Isolation in the works?
Bye. Definitely. Bye. One might say. I think that it's about time. It's about damn time. Yeah.
I mean, it's the one that's objectively actual good Alien game, and it's kind of ridiculous that it's taken so long to get a sequel.
Ooh, Dark Descent was also pretty good.
Oh yeah, that's right.
The kind of XCOM-ish sort of tactical strategy game that they had. That was pretty good.
I just laughing thinking about it, but the stupid, what was it, Colonial Marines game?
God.
Yeah, I know. I don't know that whole game just makes me laugh.
I've played some of it. That's the thing.
That was a game.
That was a game that happened. It was a game that
Iron Team Elite was also not super bad. It was just kind of it's
I don't think Alien outside of Colonial Marines has had that many bad games. Just a lot of them are kind of it's an Alien game.
The old Capcom beat 'em up.
Yeah. The worst part about Colonial Marines is now my roommate and his brother both really want to get into watching Alien movies. I'm like, okay, I'll let you guys decide if you want to watch 3 and 4 after we watch 2, and then we'll see what happens.
Remember, it's not Enlightenment. It's just Alien 3.
It's not the darkness approaching you. It's Alien 3. But then like we're getting in and they watched the first one, which I really liked. I'm like, yeah, good. And then I'm like, I don't know, but like I really like Aliens. And then I'm telling them why, and I'm like, you guys are gonna be introduced to Higgs, and we're just gonna have a really good time. And so then we go through the whole movie, and they keep hearing the Colonial Marines, and the only thing that my roommate knows about Colonial Marines is that freaking video game. Every time they mention it, he just like laughs. I'm like, they're actually really cool.
Yeah.
That thing ruined it.
Yeah. That makes me sad that that's actually happening, where people know the game first, and then when they get around to watching Aliens, it's like, oh no, these guys.
It's like, open the damn schools.
Yes. Then it getting to show one of my favorite lines in history ever, which is from Newt. They mostly come out night, mostly. I love that so much. All right.
Mostly.
Right. Here's another game you want. I'll start with you, Kiona. Buy or sell that Ubisoft is reportedly planning to release 10 Assassin's Creed games over the next 5 years, including remakes.
Jesus.
I just did. Ubisoft just needs to stop.
Oh, we got more about Ubisoft later.
No. Oh, fun. Oh, dear.
I don't know, man.
The problem with Assassin's Creed games is that there wasn't enough of them. People like the shit on Horizon that has a remake of the first one. We have 15 Assassin's Creed games that'll be coming out in the past 4 years. What are we doing?
Purely out of spite, Umbreon. I love it. I love it so much. I mean, it's their big money maker, so I guess they're gonna milk it till it's dry.
Yeah, how dare we develop original IPs?
At this point, they're pumping milk back into the cow to squeeze out of it.
At this point, yeah, they really are. It's kind of sad to me. Like, I'm just sad about it. Like, I'm not even that upset about it. I'm just sad because it's like that series used to actually mean something, and they have just buried it into the ground. Yeah.
Try a new IP at some point, but they're not going to.
I would like them to.
After what happened with Watch Dogs, I don't see them trying a new IP like ever.
What was so bad about Watch Dogs anyway?
People did not like how the first one played. I heard a lot
about, but I mean,
mechanics and the hacking wasn't great, and then a lot of people fell off for the second one, and then the third one you didn't actually have a character; it was just grabbing randos.
Yeah, you just had randos and stuff. Off. I don't hate the first game. I don't know.
The first one, it's just heard a lot of people complain about it.
Yeah.
I didn't mind it whatsoever.
I didn't mind it at all.
I
really like the second one. No, not at all.
Yeah. Yeah. Also, right.
Speaking of, new things and original ideas, Bree, buy or sell that they're making a live action Rugrats movie and that the babies will be CG in it.
Here's the crazy thing is, like, I've heard this rumor like on and off, I swear to God, for like the last 3 years. And I'm like, here's like the thing with like Rugrats is that Rugrats is so inextricably like 90s. Like, anytime they tried to reboot it, and then like even when the show was still airing in like the early 2000s, it is such a product of its time. And of all these, live action shows, and really pretty much all Paramount's output, because, they're really kind of taking the piss out of Transformers 1, especially now since, Charlie actually like reviewed it, said how great, like, oh, it's going to be, on VOD October 22nd. I'm like, you fuckers hate money. And then you're like, oh, we don't have any money. We don't know what to do.
Yeah.
So
it needs to stop. It needs to stop. Like, this is bad. I'm not surprised, but I'm also like, at the same time, I'm like astounded about how wildly like directionless like Paramount is right now. Like, Like, that shit is honestly kind of blowing my mind. And they've been like that for a while. Like, I would say at this point, like pretty much like a solid decade. They literally don't know what to do, and they're just trying to throw everything at the wall, and like nothing's working. And it's kind of like sad because Paramount is like one of the oldest studios, if not the oldest studio, and it
is actually really sad.
Yeah, it makes me nostalgic. I'm like, can the oil companies own the film studios again?
Oh my.
So I'll take that you sell it then. Because I never got an answer out of you.
As someone who loved Rugrats growing up, I'm like, this just has, baby geniuses like written all over it. And I can't, like, no, absolutely the fuck not. No.
What, you can't wait to have Chucky Finster be voiced by Charlie Day? Like, you just can't wait for that to happen?
Well, actually, if that happened, I would fucking pay money to see that. That would be the only way you get me into that theater, because I would see that in 40X, IMAX, whatever, just to hear that. Other than that, no.
You know who's going to voice Tommy. It's going to be Chris Pratt. And I'm not even joking about that.
It's definitely going to be Chris Pratt.
Yeah, like the sad thing is that I'm hearing it and I don't hate it.
I don't hate it either. That's why this time it's going to happen for sure, because it actually kind of fits. Shockingly fits. And you know what? It's like Zendaya is going to be Angelica. Oh boy. And then Scarlett Johansson is going to be Angelica's mom, because it'll just work out that way. Dear God, I can see it already. But anyway.
Your casting choices are actually like on point, and that honestly makes me hate it more. Like, that makes me hate it more.
Clipping this for future. I tell you what, Umbreon, during my next stream, before tomorrow at work, I will try and write down all of my casting choices for that, just to see how off I would be when it comes up, just to see.
I mean, some of the masks, I was thinking more baby geniuses, because let me tell you, the one thing, as many CGI advances as we had, we still cannot do CG babies. Like, every time it does it, like, it's wrong.
It's wrong on so many levels.
Like they had an American Sniper, that worked out really well.
I mean, think about it. But not only that, but the Flash, like those CG babies, the Twilight movies, like, I don't think I've ever seen one good CG baby. Like, correct me if I'm wrong. Can you guys think of any?
They normally don't do it.
No. I also don't want to think of any.
Fiona, buy or sell?
Sell.
Right into the ocean. Which is actually a great transition to our next topic.
Speaking of Nickelodeon, Kiona, buy or sell that on October 8th, you're going to be getting a Krabby Patty meal at Wendy's.
I mean, sell. Sell.
What, just not a fan of the gimmick or what? You don't want to know what the best burger could be, is there? Do you like Krabby Patty, Squidward? Are you feeling it, Mr. Krabs?
I don't know.
I'm just honestly kind of surprised that they didn't do like this collab in July when it was the show's like actual like 25th anniversary. But I mean, it's just
it took this long.
It's kind of
McDonald's 30 years ago.
Or like Burger King, because I remember for the longest time Nickelodeon was like partnered with Burger King, because I know they did like a couple like SpongeBob runs.
Yeah, they sure did.
But yeah, it's just apparently there was a whole commercial that also got cut. So it's just like, it's a good idea. I kind of feel like with what's going on with Paramount and like everything else, it's just kind of underwhelming.
Okay. I'll say this. I'll just say sell for me personally, but I guess it's fine if you're a fan of that. I guess it's fine. I don't know. It doesn't really. It's not going to make me go to Wendy's, just to be like, give me a Krabby Patty. I don't think I would do that. It's fine. It's licensing. It's fine. Yeah, it's not going to make me go to Wendy's anytime soon. But, whatever.
Alrighty. Okay, so getting into the gaming news here.
Sure.
The original Silent Hill director has said he was not satisfied with the game's original limited camera and actually prefers the remake's modern perspective. I expected that to piss off a lot more people than it did.
Yeah, I would have expected that too.
But no, he's actually kind of like, yeah, modern things can help. Like, a lot of people don't know or somehow forgot that the mist in Silent Hill was a technology limitation.
It was.
They did that to shrink your draw distance. Like, so you couldn't see the just like
couldn't see everything just popping right in.
Yeah, and I want to quote Patrick Boyven on this because he kind of nailed it. For anyone that doesn't know, Silent Hill 1 is about the town and the cult. Silent Hill 3 is about the town and the cult. Silent Hill 4 is about the town and the cult. Shoot. Not Downpour. Homecoming is about the town and the cult. And like the freaky stuff, the town, and like about the cult. Like the main one that has nothing to do with the cult and just has to do with the town making you see weird things is like basically only Silent Hill 2 and then Downpour. So now every time someone sees Silent Hill, they always only think of what happens in 2.
Yeah. Yeah.
Let me guess. The remake is the remake is not about the town and the cult. It's the exact same as the old one, which is why Silent Hill 2 is regarded as the best one, because it's the one that's different. It's the one that everyone thinks every game is about until they remember that only that one and like Downpour are about making you relive through your weird memories and not having monsters in a cult and like sacrificing women and such.
I mean, most of my experience with Silent Hill is watching Erica Beck play Dead by Daylight, saying like how caked up Pyramid Head is.
Gotta love some Pyramid Head, though. You do.
Yeah, I mean, he's
dry humping a mannequin in Downpour.
I mean, he's definitely packing.
Very nice. Yeah. Yeah.
You guys want a good laugh, go look up Plague of Gripes, Two Best Friends, Triangle Girl. There.
Oh yeah.
God.
Have you met a sim cute? Tell me you don't know about Pyramid Head. I met his sister, Triangle Girl. She gives the worst head. That whole skit is hilarious. Anyway, okay, so yeah, I need to play that. For everything I've heard, other than like one enemy being a lot more juiced up than the rest of it, I've actually heard that it's very faithful. It plays a lot more like you're a lot more capable in your survival horror, which is the mistakes they made with later survival horror games with Silent Hill. It's because you're not meant to fight back a whole lot, but this one, from what I understand, threads that needle. Except, like, okay, spoiler alert for Silent Hill Homecoming. Anyone, you want to mute this? I'll do this when you can come back. So in Silent Hill Homecoming, they straight up rip off Jacob's Ladder. And there's this whole thing about how they're like, we need to make the combat good, but we need to have an excuse to make the combat good. So they're like, okay, this guy used to be in the military, and therefore he could be a good fighter because he used to be in the military. And then you find out that this guy hallucinated the entire time that he was in the military. It never actually happened. And it's just a figment of his imagination. So now the reason they came up with for him to be good at combat is a lie. It's just one of the stupidest reasons. Downpour and Homecoming are two of the worst character assassinations of a game franchise I've ever seen in my life. It's not good. It's really, really bad. All right. Now, on the opposite end of a company doing really good, we have Tencent Holdings and Ubisoft Entertainment's SA's founding company, the Guillemot family. I never got an
Guillemot,
exact
Yves Guillemot and his family. Yeah.
Are considering options including a potential buyout of the French video game developer after it lost more than half its market value this year.
Oof.
They want to completely buy it and take the company private.
Yeah.
Half its profit.
Yeah.
In a
yeah. Ouch.
And we still have 3 months.
I know.
But yeah, releasing 10 more Assassin's Creeds is going to fix it.
That'll help. Sure.
Because, yeah.
That'll do it. That'll completely just save the company right there.
I was so disillusioned when I was younger. Whenever I play a video game, I'm like, 5,000 people must have been working on this to make this video game work. And that's when I'm playing like Spider-Man 2 on my PS2. And I come to learn that like modern day games now are being made by like group of 300 people. And that's considered to be a big crew for making a video game.
Yeah.
Ubisoft has multiple thousands of employees around the world, like multiple studios all over.
Yep.
And yet they're dedicated to making 3 IPs. Now, oh, by the way, spoilers over for... I am a guy who's openly said and will openly keep saying, you release a Far Cry game, I'm going to buy it. Because you get a Far Cry game about once every 4 to 5 years. And
it's one of the
mainline one.
It's one of the better franchises that they have, actually, in terms of the quality itself.
It's basically the same thing.
Yeah.
They make the combat better each time, and they always have at least a good villain that you can deal with and have, like, it's first-person shooter, stupid shit happens.
Yeah.
Now, if I got 5 Far Cries in a year, I don't think I'd be as excited.
Right.
And they kind of just... I'm genuinely excited for this Hex one because it's different, but they need to... That IP needs to take a break. Can you imagine how excited the average in Umbreon, be honest with me and not being cynical here, if you didn't get a Assassin's Creed game for like 5 years and then one came out and it was a 15 out of 10 and everyone loved it and said it was the greatest thing ever and it like swept the game awards instead of you getting one a year? Ubisoft's Creed is a... But like, seriously, think about that. Them taking all the time in the world. You would prefer that. Exactly. Think about them taking all of those studios to like basically Red Dead, what they did for RDR2. People don't know that like basically for 7 years, most of the Rockstar groups at like 6 different studios all came together to make Red Dead Redemption 2. They made a big video about just how many fucking people worked on this game. Imagine if you did that with Assassin's Creed. You could make a fucking masterpiece of a game. And then parson that out with other releases in between then, including a crack at a new IP. You wouldn't be getting the Ubisoft formula like, you have to go get the tower and unlock you just change stuff up a little bit. I don't know how hard that is to realize that they know what their problem is, but I don't know. It feels like a person who's stuck with Stockholm Syndrome and they're locked in a house with Assassin's Creed and they just can't get out. I don't know how else to fix it. I don't know what else they could do. I genuinely don't know.
You seem distressed, Brock.
It blows my mind that you have some of the most talented developers in the world and you're only allowed them to make one IP. And like, give or take, like Guerrilla Games is only making Horizon, but you can make a lot out of Horizon, and they made 4 to 5 different Killzone games first. Freaking Sucker Punch is only making Ghost of Blank games now, but they made a bunch of Sly Coopers. They made all of the Infamous games. like they go through patterns of moving through IPs. We need to have more of that. But we don't because, recognizability and all that stuff. All right. So, Kiona.
Indeed.
You and me,
yes,
for a long time, have said, wow, it would be really great. Rise is only on its second and they take a long time to make, at least. Exactly. And that's part of what I get by that, where it's like, you take 5 years between an IP and don't just freaking. Yeah. But anyways, yeah. So you and me have said for a while that it'd be really nice if Xbox gave a shit about Halo again.
It sure would.
So now 343, with the subtlety of a hammer, has been now changed to Halo Studios, because we didn't get that before.
Yeah.
My favorite thing, it's Destin some, I can't remember his name.
Destin Legary.
Destin Legary pulled the dumbest. Yeah, go ahead. Drop that in. Just get it in the where you want it talked about, and then we'll get to it.
Okay, cool.
But made this comment about how, they're working on Halo games now. That makes sense with the studio and stuff like that. And I guess that makes more sense than Halo 343. I'm not sure what that referenced before. This guy's meant to be a hardcore Xbox guy. And then today, he got fact-checked bringing up the wrong game that involves Guilty Spark. I'm like,
oh, what?
They brought up the wrong Halo, and they called him out, and then he's making jokes about ha ha ha.
Oh my goodness.
This is the same guy that when he was interviewing Digital Foundry about the PS5 Pro and basically got his whole asshole blown out live on YouTube by this guy from Digital Foundry, showing he had no idea what he was talking about for the specs of the Pro, had the audacity to try and ask the guy, well, can you tell me what game performs the least best on the Pro? Since when do you get a new piece of hardware and ask someone what performs least best on it?
That sounds
what
the heck?
Bullshit.
Okay.
But anyway, yeah. So
it's weird, man. It's weird.
It was the Slipstream engine? They were
Slip Space engine. Slip Space engine.
They were making it now, I did not touch Infinite. I was so done with Halo. I
did.
They made it specifically for Infinite, correct?
Right. Yes.
So
and it was supposed to be the thing that would propel them into the future. They were supposed to use Slip Space for multiple games in the series and all that.
Yeah, exactly. Infinite. But
Infinite.
Apparently, they were having shitloads of issues with it. Apparently.
I'm not surprised.
Couldn't get things to function the way they wanted, just because, making an engine's hard. We don't
definitely.
need to go far that back with freaking CD Projekt Red trying their damnedest to make their own engine, the Red engine, and they're switching to Unreal 5 because it kicked their ass trying to make Cyberpunk.
Yeah.
It just didn't work, literally because of how stuff was layered.
If you can use a good engine that's already fully featured and everything that will make life easier for your developers, I would think most definitely.
Absolutely. So there's so they're
You're right, Umbreon.
Their first look at Project Foundry in Unreal 5,
which is
it looks nice.
It looks good.
I will tell you, I don't like how chonky Chief looks.
Yeah, but I feel like that's
this extra padding on him. It looks weird.
I feel like I felt kind of that way with Infinite as well, with the design that they went for with Infinite. So it looks like they're very much committed to this whole we're just gonna set it on the Halo ring and have it or whatever, and have it be this open world or mini open world or whatever it was, semi-open world that they had with Infinite. That's what it looks like to me because it just looks so similar. But so my issue that I had with Infinite was the fact that, in a way, I'm a little bit of a continuity person. Like I like the idea of having Infinite and going back to basics and stuff, but I also like the idea of having, like, I want to know what happened to the other characters. They kind of covered what happened with Cortana, even though that was sort of unsatisfying and anticlimactic. It does, yes, Umbreon, you are absolutely correct. I think that
into Final Fantasy 14, the guy who's making the engine, they want to upgrade how it looks, but he said it would almost break the game, and that the current engine to make it work how it is literally held together with spaghetti. That's his own words.
I'm not shocked by that. Yeah, I'm really not shocked by that. But yeah, I mean, just apart from the concerns about the slip space engine and moving on to Unreal Engine, I think that that's the right move, frankly. And it is nice to get confirmation that we are actually going to get another Halo title, because for a while it was touch and go there.
Supposedly multiple Halo projects.
Just supposedly, yeah. Hey, just like Destiny. Yeah. You're right.
They should rename themselves to the Destiny Studio just so we understand what game they're making.
Oh, Jesus. I just think that, like, you know, it gives me a little bit of hope in a way, and I know that that's ridiculous, but knowing 343's pedigree, but I also I'm a big enough Halo fan where I will get excited that we are getting a new game coming down the pipe, but it just, I would say it's cautious optimism, because I just don't know what the hell they're going to do with it. And I wish that we could see, like, some of the other characters. Like, I want Buck back, you know, and I want Blue Team back. You know, some of Osiris, like, they weren't like bad characters overall. I think it's just the way that they were utilized and the story was bad. And I think that the writing was bad, but I think that, like, you could do something interesting with them. You could do something interesting. You could have done something more interesting with Infinity and with you know, with Captain Lasky, and with, like, I think that there was a way to utilize all those characters and actually make a cohesive story out of it with Halo 5, and I think they just didn't do it. So you know, I'm excited that we're getting a new Halo game. I'm excited that we actually are caring about this franchise again. It seems like, I hope that they are. I hope they don't just, you know, fart one out and then call it a day. I really want there to be something good that happens for us in as Halo fans. You know, because it's been too long, frankly. And Infinite for me was okay. It wasn't really it, though, and I felt like, is there such a thing as going maybe too far back to basics? I mean, I felt like it was a weird sort of mixture of, like, we're going back to basics, but we're also adding in new shit, and the new shit that we added in didn't really make that much sense. Yeah, so it just like, it felt disjointed to me, and I didn't really care for, you know, the fact that they had set this whole thing up and just didn't do anything with it. I felt like they just kind of abandoned the storyline. I know a lot of people were fans of that because they didn't like the storyline, but I think you can do something with it, you know, as opposed to just, like, trashing it and throwing it all out the window. I mean, there are aspects of it that you could have maybe improved, but I don't think that maybe they're just not good enough, you know? Maybe they're just not good enough to do that. It was basically one's environment with three's enemies. Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah. I mean, I'm kind of waiting for the announcement that we're getting remake of the original games in Unreal Engine 5.
Oh, dear Lord. And yeah, that's kind of what it looked like, honestly.
My favorite thing was watching and I don't mean this, but it's because it's gotten so much now to where they pretty much have to go into a panic every time this happens. Unreal Engine 5 is really easy to multi-platform.
Yeah. I would play Halo on a PS5.
If they get a Halo remaster in Unreal Engine 5 and, like, in the middle of some award show and the PlayStation logo pops up, I think I will actually see Twitter explode.
I think you would.
And my favorite thing underneath that, I want to say it was someone in a thing with it wasn't Jez Corden, it was someone like that. They're like, oh, and because of this news, I've heard distinct rumors that I know for a fact that if Halo goes to PlayStation, that they will be bringing God of War to Xbox. I'm like, do you just try to come up with stupid things to say? Like, what?
No.
At this point. Yeah,
I do kind of think so, Umbreon. I because it did very much look like Infinite to me, other than the flood area. But it really looked like Infinite. It looked like that installation or whatever the hell they called it.
We'll have to wait and see. I mean, at least they actually like remembered that Halo existed.
Yeah, that's nice.
Which is a lot more than they've done for like this.
That's something.
This console generation and the last
that's
one.
Something, I guess. At this point, we're just we're eating the crumbs. At this point, I feel like.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
All right. Itagaki Games shuts down. The studio was founded in January 2021. No games are released.
Yeah.
Rip, I guess.
Did you play any of Itagaki's games? Did you play Devil's Third?
No. I heard very bad things, unfortunately.
It was different. It was different.
Are you saying it was built different?
It was a lot of things different.
Do you like my samurai sword?
Oh, good God. Oh, yeah. All right. So Pocket Pair is just keeping on. Despite the fact
why the hell not?
In a patent lawsuit, they have announced also that Krafton has signed an agreement with Pocket Pair to create a mobile version of their game. I think it should be called Pal World Go.
Maybe it should be called Pal World. Let's fucking go. I don't know.
I just love how lawsuit Sony with all the media rights for music and possibly an anime Krafton. We're making a mobile game.
Yeah, why the hell not?
Good God. They've got so many people that are just like, yeah, we don't care. It blows my mind. It blows my mind how they're in the middle of a lawsuit where it was literally Nintendo waiting to see what they could sue them for, including a late after the games come out patent that was actually shown in Pal World before it was used in Arceus.
Version.
But Opal version.
But nice.
But yeah, I cannot wait for that to come out and do insanely well, and then Nintendo to some be like, no, you can't have a thing on a phone. We patented that. Did you though?
Just now.
Just now we did.
Yesterday, we just patented it.
All right. Now, one of my favorite things that I saw, I thought this was a joke. I honest to God thought this was a joke until I saw that it was a real statement from like one of their like talk groups. Xbox wants to know why devs make games for PS5 and skip Xbox consoles.
Oh yeah, I saw that. I did see that. We'd love to know why.
On Xbox, we'd love to know why. And honestly, if you're using our competitors' products, you probably have a great perspective on what we could learn from. Stop making a half-baked console that forces people to break their games in half to try and make it work there because you make them make it work on both consoles.
Honestly, like, as the years go by, having console exclusives is just kind of fucking dumb. I mean,
PlayStation being very successful would say otherwise.
well, I mean, yes and no. Like, with Square, the new, the last couple Final Fantasy titles have not done that great.
That I'm going to be honest about that though. That doesn't have a fucking thing to do with it being on PlayStation, because you know what happened when they put it on PC where those people could get it? It bombed harder than it did on PlayStation. No one bought it. That's people at this point not knowing how to get into Final Fantasy. I've had legit conversations with people, and they don't know if they want to try Final Fantasy. That's not an exclusivity problem.
Well, I just mean more like having that as an exclusive, like, you know, marketing for like your console, saying, "Oh, we have exclusives," you know, as like your big gotcha. Like, I don't know. It's just, to me, that seems kind of dumb.
That's how both consoles have had success, though. Kiona, how did the 360 beat the living shit out of PS3 for the longest time?
Leave it open like this.
Sorry about that, guys. What was your question again, Brock? I'm so sorry I was interrupted.
How did the Xbox 360 for the first like 3/4 of the console generation beat the fuck out of the PS3? They bought timed exclusives on a metric.
They had
assload of games.
Yeah.
So people bought that first.
And they bought it first.
The PS4 generation win. They had a metric assload of exclusives.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think it would hurt Final Fantasy to go multi-platform in terms of what they release, but I mean, you got it on PC, you got it on PlayStation. I mean, if you have it on PC, what do you need on an Xbox for?
And the thing that's hurting Xbox is not the fact that it doesn't have exclusives. The thing that's hurting Xbox is the fact that you don't need an Xbox.
Yeah, you don't need one.
It's not an exclusivity problem.
I don't need one.
It's a console need problem. They're going out of their way to say that, oh, by the way, we don't want to do this. And the other thing, it's not an exclusivity problem. 9 times out of 10, if you want to be on an Xbox, they're going to make you put the game on Game Pass. And it's come out of their way that developers don't like that because they lose out all their back end money. PlayStation doesn't make you do that. You have
especially on first run games, you know?
Yeah.
Especially on first run games.
You literally
you can just use the fire stick.
Exactly. Xbox's worst enemy is Xbox, but you're never going to hear them say that.
No.
You're never going to hear them say that. Their own marketing and the way they've run that thing for 3 generations now. No, 2. The 360 was run good. And then it's their own issue. It's their own leadership that are shooting themselves in the ass.
Yeah.
And then to ask, hey, why are you going to PlayStation? Or why are you going to something else? Because they have games I want to play there, and I buy a game and play it there. It's one of those things where on PlayStation, you need to make it for one console. On Xbox, it needs to be on Game Pass, and you need to make it work on a console that has 100% power and one that has 50. People are wondering why Black Myth Wukong isn't on Xbox right now. The studios openly said that they cannot make it work for their quality standards because they have to make it work on the S. Baldur's Gate had to literally get rid of split screen to make it work on the S. Xbox problems are Xbox.
That's another problem. Like you said, it's just the S is just severely underpowered as well. The Series S is just underpowered. And so it's like, you know, like I had an Xbox One X versus the Series S. It's like, it's comparable, if not the One X is maybe a little bit even stronger than the Series S was, at least initially. Yeah. But like, yeah, I mean, I don't know. I just didn't see a reason why I would ever want to pick up a Series S. And then Series X was just always sold out at the time, you know, that I was looking at it. And then it was just like, well, I can just get it on PC anyway. I could just get all their games on PC. What do I need? What do I need a Series X for?
It was really funny. The Looney Tunes skit of them shooting themselves in the
floor. Over and over and over.
That's pretty much what it is.
Exactly what it is.
If you at that studio can't figure out what the problem is, that is terrifying.
It is.
And when Jason Schreier, who is basically the Sherlock of the games industry, is saying that they are literally doing the community like houses on fire meme in their management offices on a daily basis, just stop. And even they figured out that they're not making enough money on their freaking first-party games being on Xbox, because now they made it that you can't get games day one if you buy the cheapest version. They literally took away the thing they said they would never do.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah.
You can't keep making, and I'm not going to say that Sony doesn't make stupid decisions. They do horrible on every PC release they do. They do. They honestly do. And it's not a good big business thing for them. And it's just a thing they do as an afterthought. They literally bought a studio to make it. And now that studio that does their PC ports is the one that remastered Horizon. And they're working on other remasters because they sell better. People get upset that they're making remasters, but then they sell.
Yep.
I'd like new games too, but when people ain't buying the shit, I don't know. Just,
old games are better anyway.
For the most part,
tangentially related to what we just said, Brock, to what you just said, especially. Remember I had that question of with the Zero Dawn remaster, if you have it on Steam or if you have it on PC, is it going to be $10 to upgrade it? Yes.
Oh, it is nice.
They're doing the $10 thing on Steam too. Nice. So I thought that was cool.
And that is a good thing they should do, which another thing where I saw a lot of people, that's another thing that people are complaining. I don't want to pay $10 for you're technically, a lot of people are only paying $10. People like to forget during COVID, PlayStation gave away for free to keep 6 of their biggest IPs during COVID so that people didn't have to spend money. And Horizon was one of them. There can be possibly millions of people that pay $10 for this when they never bought the original game.
Yeah. True.
But all right. Kiona, this next one is yours, buddy.
Oh, sure. Okay, so recently at the Tokyo Game Show, SNK announced that they will be collaborating with Capcom and they will bring Chun-Li and Ken over to Fatal Fury City of the Wolves. Me being the big fighting game guy here, I am very excited for this news. Also, the game is coming out on my birthday, which is April 24th, so that's nice.
Oh, nice.
It's a birthday game. It's just them testing the waters even more and more for Capcom versus SNK 3. I mean, we have a blueprint, a template for it. And I'm very, very excited to see that. And I hope that it happens very soon.
Do you think
it sure seems like they are? Sure seems like they're working fast.
They would have the balls to make a Capcom versus SNK versus Marvel.
Ooh,
oh my god,
that would be licensing issues, but
it might be too powerful of a game.
Yeah, that might be too much.
Licensing issues from Marvel all the time, pretty easily.
They do.
Just need to work with SNK.
They would just have to bring it all together. And I think that, I mean, you're not wrong. I think Max would have an aneurysm.
Max would die.
I think so.
I honestly think that Max would die.
They just go poof.
I saw him live react, or almost. I think I might have almost seen it. I think I came in just right at the tail end of it. But when he was, when he was doing the live stream of the Capcom or it was the SNK show, it was the SNK program at TGS, and he was live streaming it on Twitch, and then all of a sudden, you just see his reaction just go completely wide eyed and everything, and just lose it. It's always fun to see him do that. But
with DMC,
yeah, I mean, it's just amazing. We are living in a golden age. I never thought that this would happen, but here it is happening. We're getting Project Justice back, for God's sake. We're getting the 2 Power Stone games. It's crazy.
Yeah. And Capcom really said
very excited for that.
A ton, in their exact words, a ton of their old IPs.
Yes. Yeah.
Which,
they should.
They will bring back a lot of them, except Dino Crisis.
Except Dino Crisis. Dino Crisis.
At this point, I have to think that there is some other company that has a rights tie-up in that game.
It must be.
They literally put a character.
It doesn't make sense otherwise.
No.
Yeah.
They literally put a woman who looks like Regina in...
Exactly.
What was that game called?
Exoprimal.
Exoprimal. Like, I was waiting for them to have a Mo going, it's a Dino Crisis. I was waiting.
It would have been perfect.
Like,
it would have been perfect. I'm sad that didn't happen.
Because I can't tell you how much, like, we talked the other day about how much, I don't remember what podcast was on, where I want a dinosaur game that is not, or a dinosaur movie that's not Jurassic Park.
Mm-hmm.
I want a dinosaur game that's not Jurassic Park. And let's literally Dino Crisis. That's it. Like, I mean, they'd have to scan in an actual raptor because that's how Capcom works now. But like,
I mean, they could do Primal Rage. That'd be a dinosaur game that's not Jurassic Park.
They could. I'd be okay with Primal Rage. I'm just trying to think an Unreal 5 level Primal Rage, and I don't know if my brain is ready to comprehend.
I don't know about that one. I don't know if I could stand that one.
All right. Oh, Kiona, did you watch Bad Blood?
Oh yes, I did.
Okay.
I heard about it because my friend Gio was texting me the other night. He's like,
Well,
I did watch Bad Blood. I wanted
us to talk about Bad Blood a little bit.
Sure, let's talk about it.
What was your favorite match, or anyone who saw it a little bit or knows about it can comment it? Favorite matches?
Punk and McIntyre, very good.
Yeah,
that was a good Hell in a Cell match.
That took 16 staples to close up his head.
Holy shit!
It's like right above his eyebrows. I couldn't see where he got hit because it was all in his hairline.
Jesus! Oh my god! Oh, yeah, that was nasty. I mean, so that feud, while some aspects of it, you know, I get the criticisms of like, okay, it's over like a bracelet thing, you know, like I get that.
Well, I mean,
get that,
but yeah.
But honestly, that feud was an excellent feud. That's like one of my favorite feuds from like, you know, the past maybe 5 to 10 years. They did a hell of a job. And you bought it. I mean, like, you buy every single second of it because, like, it's so damn, like, you know that they're working together.
Mm-hmm.
Because there is no way that you know, there's no way that like Punk would have been like slammed up against the closed like entry door into like the garage area or whatever the hell that was at the arena and stuff. You know that like, you know, the cops would have been called and everything like that because that's attempted like manslaughter if that were a real thing. But like, but yeah, I mean, so you know that they're working together. And it's probably been a work from minute one. Like Drew just getting pissed off and walking out of that arena when Punk returned was probably just, you know, it's probably them working together, like full on putting it all together and stuff. But like, it's so, you know, what that was just, it was a perfect combination of reality and like your reality and fantasy, and you're questioning if it's like real or if it's not real. Mm-hmm. But it's the exact opposite of what there was in AEW, where like they just couldn't put it together. They couldn't work it. They couldn't work a match, you know? Mm-hmm. So I just think that it was really good. And I think that like the Hell in a Cell match, that was the perfect way to put a cap on it. And I know Punk is going to take time off or something. That's what I've heard. I don't know if that's a work too, but you know,
we'll see. Worked out in perfect timing to where he's not involved in any storylines,
in any feuds or anything. Yeah. So it's like, you know,
Saudi pay-per-view that he's openly said he hates.
Yeah, exactly. So, you know, we'll see him after Crown Jewel probably. Anyway. But yeah, I mean, I thought that was a really good match. It was a solid match. Maybe not the greatest, you know, obviously not the greatest Hell in a Cell match that we've ever seen, but it was a good one. And like I said, you know, I like the way that they played it. I like the way that they made it, you know, they had the reality of it and everything, and they did a good job.
I will say,
and then after that, okay,
bump in that match,
and
I audibly went, "Oh!" There's a point very clearly where Drew is supposed to miss Punk with a Claymore kick and land on his back on the steps. And then when he hit his spine directly on the edge of the steps, I'm like,
I was like, oh shit, no.
I'm like, how are you walking?
Yeah, how? You know, I mean, honestly, I mean, I'm a big Punk fan, so obviously I was on his side during the match. But in terms of like Punk and McIntyre and Drew McIntyre, I think that they're both like excellent in-ring workers and stuff. And Drew McIntyre, he's a legend. He's already a legend. I think this is the best that I've ever seen him. Like, he really did a great job.
On in the past 3 years, though, was during WrestleMania with Seth when he rolls out of the ring. His wife grabs his cell phone and tweets "bored at work, lol," and then goes back to wrestling.
That is fantastic. I do love that.
And then I got a notification. I'm like, he was on Twitter. That's what he was doing on his phone.
Heel Drew McIntyre has been one of the revelations of this past, since the post McMahon era, the post Vinnie Mac era. I think the heel McIntyre has just been so great and just fun to watch. And his promos are just out of this world great.
Don't look at my skirt, you pervert.
I think that for the most part, I thought after that match, I would say probably the next one that I thought was okay in chronological order as it happened was the Finn Balor Damian Priest match. I thought that was at least decent. It wasn't like a showstopper by any means, but it was decent. And they're good workers. Like I said, they put on a good show. Also not the best match that I've ever seen, but it was all right. And then of course the ending. I'm going to skip past.
That's what I heard about, and this is where my friend lost, and understandably so.
Understandably,
lost his shit.
I think that So first of all, the match itself with Roman and with Cody. I loved that promo that they cut, the very cinematic one with Roman and Cody in the I forget which stadium it was, but they were in the football stadium and all that. Yeah, and I love that promo, and I think that they did a really it was filmed very well. It was fantastically done. So Cody and Roman putting their differences aside and actually going up against Jacob Fatu and Solo Sikoa, I think was a very good match for what it was. I think Solo still could learn some things.
It is fucking ridiculous how fast Jacob became a better person on screen than Solo within 2 seconds of arrival.
Oh yeah. Jacob Fatu is excellent. Like his work is impeccable. He does a really great job. When he sold his leg, you remember at what was it at? Was it like SummerSlam or something?
Or SummerSlam or something. Then he wore a walking boot just for the shit of it.
Him selling that though, I bought it because I thought he was really sore. The weird thing about it was when you look at him doing the bump, it doesn't look like he hit there, but shit happens, right? Especially in wrestling. So I thought for real that he was actually really kind of, on a bum leg there, but nope, it was a work.
Yeah.
But Jacob Fatu is excellent, and he's got a lot more experience than Solo. So
yeah, I loved how they treated each other in the match. It was very much
yes.
We made an agreement, and they both honored it.
Yes.
The moment when Jacob's on the outside, he looks at him, he's like, "You got this? Peace." And then jumps out on it.
That was like the most anime shit ever.
It was.
It's like, I got this, dude. You take care of the shit and bring the people home. And then this is my favorite part though. This is some inside baseball, people. I was so proud of myself for this because I was watching it with a buddy who's still skeptical on how real wrestling is. So there's that moment where Drew is bringing out that first table that I'm pretty sure the leg wasn't supposed to snap off of.
Yeah.
But when he's bringing out that first table, I don't know, or maybe you do know this. Whenever they have people surprise attack someone, they're normally under the ring.
Right.
And how they have people realize when they need to go out when they're under the ring is they'll have a monitor.
Yes.
During that match, when Drew flips up the curtain and you're seeing him pull out the table, I actually saw the monitor.
Oh, shit.
I was like, that's a 10-inch monitor with a down angle from the ramp. I'm like, someone's interfering. And I'm like, Jimmy's going to be under there. I said that out loud. I'm like, Jimmy's going to be under the ring and The Rock's going to come out after. He's like, no, they won't. I'm like, you watch. They do not put monitors under that ring unless someone's going to interfere. And then they have that moment where he's going to get jumped or whatever. And then like you show the camera from the crowd where Tonga and
Tama Tonga and Tonga Loa,
Tonga Loa are pressed up against the ring so they don't see it. And he rolls out through the middle right where that freaking monitor was and gets behind them.
Yeah.
And just
a little bit of misdirection there.
It was fantastic. And that whole when Jimmy and them clear it out and he gets Roman out, and then I'm like, Cody has his little standoff and they walk away. I'm like, okay, cool, Cody. How about you get out of the ring where there's 3 savages that are going to beat the fuck out of you? Why don't you start walking away? And then, of course, he gets jumped. And just that conversation with
Jimmy and Roman,
where he's like, you gonna stand for this? Is like, and then I love how Roman went where he showed it like a business deal. He's like, you gave him his word. He's like, that was a one-time deal. I promised.
It was a one-time thing.
And then he's like, you're the tribal chief. You need to make sure this stupid shit doesn't happen. You're in charge here. Okay. And
Roman,
then the fucking building exploded when they ran back to help Cody.
If you want to talk about like somebody that's really doing a great job of like keeping the reality of wrestling and everything like that. I mean, Cody's doing a great job, but like Roman is utterly next level when it comes to that. He is so good at maintaining that sort of like, like we're going to maintain, kayfabe for lack of a better term.
Yes.
And just make this real. You know what I mean? Like that's what he said. It was a one-time deal. And Jimmy was there to luckily, to push him in the right direction, but like for Cody's sake. But I mean, like Roman is so great at understanding, he's understanding his role. And I think that that's a really good thing. I was half expecting Heyman to be back, but I think they're saving that. Obviously, they're saving that
until he has a one-on-one match with someone.
Yeah.
That's when the boss man's
That's when Paul Heyman's coming back.
That's one thing that's ever since they got rid of Kevin Dunn. Just thank you, God, that he left. That's when they started actually taking advantage of where the cameras were. And you can hear
exactly
conversations and stuff like this.
Yes.
And it's going to come at like Vince tried for 5 or 6 years to get he tried for 5 or 6 years to get face Roman over.
Yeah.
And all it took was letting him become a dickhead heel like Roman wanted to do for a while.
And I know, it's incredible.
It's incredible. And then
just naturally,
And like, this is not overly complicated writing. You can call this shit from a mile away. But
you can.
Sense.
It does.
No, it's just
that's the reality of it.
I mean, I think everyone knew that Vince was like holding it back, but I just don't think until recently we realized the extent of it.
Oh, we knew the extent.
Completely.
The common fan didn't. I don't know if you know this, Bree, but a common practice that Vince had was if you got popular with the fans and he didn't write it, he would actively degrade you, send you down the card, or fire you. He would be actively upset you were making money for the company and he didn't write it.
What the hell is wrong with it?
Like Zack Ryder. He made a YouTube series that made himself super popular, and then he's like, I got it. For this guy who's made himself super popular, but I didn't write it. I'm going to write you into a storyline where you're the third wheel in a storyline between Eva Marie, John Cena, and Kane, and you're going to watch Eva Marie make out with John Cena in front of you while you're crippled in a wheelchair, and then Kane's going to throw you off the stage. Sorry for making yourself popular. That's how he ran his business. But people, like regular fans, didn't get that. They're seeing all this. We're like, why couldn't we have had this before? I'm like, because it was ran by a senile old sex pest.
Yeah.
Like if Roman had a wicked pair of tits, I guarantee he probably could have gotten to be a heel faster. Not saying that his pecs aren't bad now, but I'm just saying. Now, this is going to lead. I can get what's going to happen.
Yeah.
And I need this to happen because, dear God, the title doesn't have to be involved in a feud between Roman and The Rock.
No, absolutely not.
you need to get to a point where you have a big feud at WrestleMania between Randy and Cody.
Yeah.
That needs to be a thing at some point. What's this going to lead to is War Games with Rock, Tamatonga, Tongaloa, Jacob Fatu, and Solo.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's going to be Roman, Jimmy, Jay, possibly Cody. And then they're going to say, you're a lot of buddies. You can't make a fifth, blah, blah, blah. And he's like, yeah, I ran out of family members, but we do have an honorary one. And then Sami Zayn's music hits and everyone fucking explodes. And you have the exact opposite version of what it was before. Mm-hmm. And you're like the Avengers All-Star team, but on the other end with Roman. And then you run this all the way to WrestleMania to where Cody is siphoned out of it. And it's Roman and Rock fighting for who is the actual tribal chief. Because eventually Rock's going to be sick of Solo failing all the time.
Yeah.
And he's going to say, you ain't the tribal chief, I am. I'm the one who's big and important and needs to have screen time because I'm full of myself. I need to be the big guy on the card. And then you can actually have a Rock versus Roman match where you don't have to forcibly steal the match other people wanted. You can have it naturally now. And hell, you can make it for the people's title because The Rock has to carry that thing around like he won it somehow. Drives me fucking insane. You didn't win that title. It's not even a title. You got it given to you by someone outside of wrestling. Stop it. I love you when you're just being a wrestler. You are too full of yourself for your own good for people to like you sometimes. My God.
I feel that. I think that wrestling though is kind of where he belongs.
It is. Like, here's the thing. Wrestling is where he belongs when he's not trying to steal the spotlight from people that need to be
I agree.
To build the company forward. He can be in feuds, but not with the top people.
No.
Have you be a person who's bringing up others.
Yeah.
That's how it should.
That's how it should be right now, especially, because he can't, he can't run the title like he obviously with his,
because he can't injure himself, so he can't do movies.
No,
take care of the 16 businesses that he has.
Yeah.
You need to be there at an outside force, which like WrestleMania, whatever, be that big thing. We do not need part-timers anymore holding titles. We don't.
Yeah.
Like, I'm actually probably going to get a Goldberg retirement match where he gets retired by Gunther from the looks of it.
That's what it looks like.
Very forward to that.
Gunther with his Bill Goldberg constant quoting Bret Hart and calling him Bill Goldberg.
Bill Goldberg. And the previous week when he told Bret Hart to his face that his favorite wrestler's Goldberg.
It was so funny. That was really funny. And like you could see him just cracking up doing that line. It's one of the funniest moments. I mean,
Gunther wouldn't be having a run on if Vince was still around.
Oh God.
There's no fucking way.
There's no way
happening like this because Gunther is a Triple H guy. He is not a Vince guy.
No, he's definitely
not an airport guy person.
No, he's not. Nia Jax is horrible.
I cannot wait till she's out. Till she
oh my God. I mean, I'm just worried that she's like hurting people.
I literally thought she killed Lyra Valkyria when she had that title match and she did that.
I thought so.
I literally thought she killed her.
I thought so. I was like, holy shit, dude.
She leaves because she was known for hurting wrestlers. So now we bring her back and have her in title feuds with your top talent.
Does that make sense? Does that seem right to you?
No, it doesn't.
It doesn't seem right to me.
I couldn't believe that. And she's not a good talker. The funniest thing she's ever done is when she screamed "my hole" when she hit her ass on the ring side. It was the dumbest thing she's ever done. I need on someone else. Someone else needs to hold that title. You need to be getting other people up. Nia Jax is not that person. Give it to some random that can actually run wild and wrestle well. Like, give Ivy Nile a freaking 3-month title reign.
Give her a chance. Yeah. Okay, and can we just briefly talk about the one match that really disappointed me, which was the Rhea Ripley, Liv Morgan match?
The only match that had an actual botch.
Yeah, that disappointed the crap out of me, honestly, because I think Rhea needs to get that title back.
Well, I'd be okay with her having whatever. I just need to not have any more Liv and Rhea matches.
Right.
Because
I
now
know.
it's going to be
run its course
with all of it. I think it's going to be Rhea's going after someone else, a different title, maybe transferring shows in a trade or something.
Yeah, that's what they say.
Yeah,
I know. Yeah, I would be okay with getting her away from that too. But it's just that, like, I'm so disappointed that she didn't win that. I think it was just a terrible idea.
Well, they want to keep having these, and they wanted to have another one just so they could bring Raquel back. That was the whole purpose.
Yeah, that was the whole thing. Yeah, it sucked.
Yeah. But alrighty. So, speaking of things that didn't suck, we're going to talk about I got told in the comments of my review that the movie went over my head. Like, no.
Really?
It went adequately into my eyeballs, and I understood that it was a horrible film.
Look, sometimes you just have to admit to yourself that a film is undercooked.
I think it was appropriately cooked. I just think when you cook a turd, you're cooking a turd. You can cook it medium rare or well done. It's still a turd.
Still a turd. Yeah.
But here's the thing. It's like, individually, everything I've heard, like, I think those ideas isolated on their own in the hands of someone more competent could work. But that's not what this film is. And I was saying in our group chat, I'm like, maybe we don't get it. And, in a decade, we'll look at it in a different way. But that's not the story or the narrative that's happening right now. Because this shit's bad. Like, on multiple levels.
Yeah, it's really bad.
Yeah. So we're going to go through just some details on this whole thing.
Get your snorkels ready because we're going to deep dive.
Todd Phillips, point blank, said he didn't want to do a sequel. Said it didn't need one. Didn't want to. We all know whenever Todd Phillips makes a sequel that it works really well. So anyone, I'm talking about The Hangover, if you didn't know he directed. Anyway.
Yeah.
And if anyone remembers that The Hangover 2 was basically just The Hangover 1 again.
It was.
But, okay. So on top of not wanting to do this sequel, and he didn't because, but then money, idea came to Joaquin Phoenix in a dream, which, writing a plot around a movie from something you thought of in your dream, which is known for you not remembering them correctly. That's a good start.
Good start.
Contemplated putting on a Broadway show before committing to making a movie. Probably would have been a better idea.
Came to me in a dream, it did.
Todd Phillips had free reign from Warner Brothers, wanting him to do his thing, and the film had no test screenings.
God.
Lady Gaga signed on before the script was finished. New DC boss James Gunn had zero involvement, gave notes to Todd, but Todd did not use them.
Of course not.
Film had a high budget of $200 million, including $20 million for the salary of Joaquin and $12 for Lady Gaga. Still do not understand how the other $170 million came from, because I saw that movie. They had 4 sets, and you can't tell me they spent more than $1 million on royalties.
Yep, that's some shit.
What the hell actually happened? I feel like a lot of that movie got reshot.
Well, I mean, how much of like Lady Gaga stuff got cut?
I don't know.
And also, let me just do a little side tangent. Warner Brothers, come here. Just come here a little bit. If you have 2 Harley Quinns who want to kiss other women as their characters, let them.
I'm going to tell you right now, it wouldn't have made the movie better.
But it would have at least been something.
that movie had a whole lot of somethings.
No, but seriously, that's like so weird. Like, I get it the markets, but I'm like, I'm sorry, like, but that's like the character it is. I mean, that's the character. I'm like, that's what she does. But I'm like, it's okay for the DC stuff, but the live action stuff, like, oh, we have to have standards for our international audience.
Well, to be fair, international. Well, when he said it, the big thing that he said that a lot of people are overdoing is he said it was in the middle of a part where dialogue was going on and singing, and it didn't fit. A lot of people are overblowing that part.
But does anything actually
fit? For the singing, for the most part, yes. For the most part. And other people are also saying that other things fit into
Zach. Yeah.
But okay, musical aspect was largely downplayed in marketing, with Todd Phillips at first insisting it wasn't one. Christopher Nolan reportedly changed the ending of the first movie because it involved Joaquin Phoenix carving a smile. There was no resistance for a sequel, with Nolan leaving WB. Todd Phillips secluded on a ranch during the opening weekend. Film was panned by critics and currently holding a 33% critic score and a 31% audience score. Cinema score is a D-, lowest ever for a comic book film. Domestic opening was $37.8 million, lower than comic book films like Mobius and the Marvels. Needs $450 million globally to break even. May lose the studio $150 million. Warner Bros. is... It was my own note, and I forgot how bad it was. Warner Bros. Discovery is already over $40 billion in debt.
Whoops. But, that Batgirl movie, clearly that was an unreleasable mess.
Clearly. Unreleasable. Clearly.
But, so... I think I'm the only one of us three that saw this movie. I'm going to go out on and say that.
I would say so.
Oh, yeah, and Acme versus
we're going to talk about this.
Audi versus Acme, yeah.
Yeah.
Any questions or info you would like to know on what people have said have happened in the film or things that felt off about the film, I will answer. I'm British.
So I've heard things about the ending, and I think if no one wants spoilers, then just...
Yeah, I heard that, and honestly, it made me respect Christopher Nolan more, and also, it just further, shows, the weird fucking, necromancy fetish that Warner Brother has going on right now, because what the fuck was that?
Okay, what is it about the ending? Because I don't know what it is.
Rock, wave your hands. Spoilers about Joker. I'm going to lead up to that to show you, because the spoiler for the ending is even worse when you consider what all happened in this film.
Okay.
So I'm gonna take us on a little journey. So
just imagine music's there.
I'm going to spoil the entire film for anyone that cares.
Go for it. I don't give a shit. I give as John Candy would say, I don't give 2 squirts of piss.
Heisers, I know you're not wanting. I know if you're still in here, I know that you're very upset. Spoiler. Okay, so this film starts out with an actually kind of cool animated thing of Arthur as a Joker chasing away his shadow. I kind of wish it would have did the whole film this way. It was actually pretty cool. And then it cuts to them inside Arkham Asylum, where I want to say this film takes place a couple of weeks after the first one. And there's a psych ward attached to where he's getting interviewed for something, and you walk by and you see what you see in the trailers, which Lady Gaga's there. Her name is Harley Quinn in the movie. And eventually she stops out in the hallway and does the gun point and blast thing like he did. And then they go through all this, and the interviewers aren't allowed to call him Joker, even though he wants whatever. He's not allowed to smoke, do all this, whatever. And in this entire film, people are really idolizing what he is as the Joker. Okay?
Sure.
And he has no problem as himself as the Joker. Literally no one does, even including the guards. He has his bestest little buddy that's his whatever, and he just enjoys his whole long life. They have this movie night where they're allowed to go in and watch a movie, and like there's a piano in the background, is in like this rec room type area. Mm-hmm. And then she tells him that she wants to get out of there. Like, let's go leave. Sure. And then it just doesn't, whatever. And then she randomly takes a book of matches with no one seeing her, lights a piano on fire, and then not until the entire thing is ablaze does everyone, including the guards, turn around and go, well, that's not good. And then a fire breaks out and everyone goes to leave. And this is where we start to get into the problems with the musical aspect. There's 3 or 4 scenes in this where we're in Arthur's imagination land, where he's imagining like a talk show with him and Harley, or like being out on a very reminiscent of like Mary Poppins, like top of a roofscape type of thing.
That's what it looked like.
Best parts of the film, to be perfectly honest with you. If every musical part was that, it would have been better. Now, we start to get into a point where they're trying to escape. Mm-hmm. And they get to the end and they start going through. Now, this is the part where the musical falls apart. Because, you know, in a musical, like everyone in the scene is involved and it becomes a whole thing. It becomes like an actual scene.
Yes.
In the Joker, other than like 3 parts, every bit of the part where the characters sing felt like the actor started singing randomly and they just didn't tell them to stop.
Oh, God.
Like the actor is having a musical happen while the scene of a normal movie is happening in the background.
That's so weird. That's such a weird disconnect.
It's very weird.
Yeah.
Like some are where there's even no backing music. It's just him singing. But acting like he's in a full-on musical with no background noise. It's very weird. What? But they try to escape, and then Arthur gets thrown into this brig. During all this, there's a previous moment where she's like, Harley's different. She really likes me, blah, blah, blah. And they point blank tell him that, hey, she's not dumb. She had herself committed. They show that Harley's actually really smart, has a college degree in psychology, and like has rich parents. They're not dead. She had herself committed just so that she could get close to Arthur. So then while he's getting rearrested out for another thing after this, she gets a guard to let her be in Arthur's room. Because, you know, that's just something they would do.
Yeah.
And then meets her there. And she's like falling more madly in love with the Joker as this goes on. Keep in mind, I'm saying the Joker. And they then proceed to, I said in our movie review that she rapes him. Tell me if I'm over the line when I say this. Arthur is not mentally well. That's obvious. He's in a bad mental state. And she kind of thrusts herself on him in the first romantic moment he's ever had. And then he goes along with it, but it's very much a you don't understand what love is type of thing. And then they have what might be the most awkward sex scene I've seen in my life since The Last of Us Part 2. And they show the whole thing. It lasts about a minute. It's awkward as shit. And then she just walks out like nothing happened. And then it keeps going on. And you have these court cases happening where he's going back and forth and testifying. And at some point, he fires his own lawyer, and then represents himself in full Joker makeup as his own lawyer. And they keep going through this whole thing as they go through. And at one point, the best part of the movie happens where I can't remember the dwarf's name from the original, the one that watched him stab that guy who used to bully him. Mm-hmm. They have a big testimony about him being scared out of his life, about how Arthur is this bad person. Do you feel you're looking at, and because the big thing they're trying to say is that the Joker is not Arthur. It's a thing that happens to him and he blacks out. Puddles. they're trying like that's what the lawyers are trying to do to get him like lighter sentencing.
Right.
Not really him. And then Puddles is like, no, Arthur, that's the guy who I saw do it. They bullied him to the point of where this was, because that is what people are trying to misconstrue that this film is, to try and show you that you shouldn't idolize Arthur. I don't think anyone idolized Arthur. People realized and sympathized with that if you could treat it like shit enough, you might do some bad things. Oh, dear God. Kiona, can you...
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
That, thank you. Split personality. Yes. So it's going on throughout the courtroom, and like he's defending himself, doing some other things, and then eventually it cuts to the ending of this court thing where they're like, hey, we should run away together. We should do this. And that's going to be their big thing. And Lady Gaga shows up in full Harley Quinn makeup, going into the office to show this. And then during the thing, he gets up close to them and he basically says, I did what I did and I'm okay with it, but I'm not the Joker. That's the big revelation, that the Joker didn't make him do this. Arthur did. Which is still you being the Joker, just without the makeup. So he's basically saying, no, I didn't need to become the Joker to murder people. That was just me. And I don't want to be the Joker anymore. I'm sorry. You had the tendency to do that without the makeup on. You murdered your mom in a hospital without the makeup on. It's not clicking. Then, right when he's getting somewhere with the jurors and they're handing down his sentence, and they say each and every count of murder, they're going down. Murder count 1, guilty. Murder count 2, guilty. Then they get to, I believe it was the third one, and a car bomb hits the side of the courthouse. You don't know who did it. Part of me was thinking that Harley blew it up, but she left in disgust when he was trying to say that he was no longer the Joker. He was just Arthur Fleck, the murderer. And then he goes out, and my favorite thing, in the first movie, they went out of their way to only show Thomas Wayne and Bruce to show the plot line with Joker, but didn't go out of their way to put a lot of other Batman stuff in it to just make it about the Joker. The DA in this movie is Harvey Dent.
Yes.
For no reason other than we needed to have someone. And I'm like, there was an itch in the back of my brain. I'm like, they're going to make that fucker Two-Face before the end of this movie.
Oh, no.
I know they're going to do it. Now, they don't call him Two-Face, but when that bomb goes off, he's wrenched up against the table with his hair blown over this way and a bunch of dirt and scars covering half of his face.
Oh.
Why? Because they couldn't help themselves. So he gets out of the courthouse, and a guy dressed up exactly like Arthur's Joker getup finds him, and he goes, man, we got to get you out of here. We're going to keep you safe. Blah, Joker did. And they get him in a car, and then they stop at an intersection, and Arthur freaks out, wants to get out, and then runs away up the steps back to where Harley is, because you find out in the movie that she bought the old apartment that he used to live in with his mom so that they could grow up happy there together. So he runs up the steps to go and meet her. She's in her still full Harley getup, and he goes, hey, I made it out. No one knows I'm here. We can run away and be happy together. I never wanted to be with you, Arthur. I wanted to be with the Joker, and you gave that up.
I can't help the look on your face.
And then he just goes, what? And then she just walks off. No goodbyes, nothing. Cops show up and arrest him again. Seconds later, he's back in jail.
The fuck was the point of this whole entire thing?
Just wait.
Oh, yeah. There's more.
I'm skipping a lot, but it's not relevant to make the ending any stupider.
Who cares?
I don't need to go over the dumb details where people think Arthur got raped by prison guards when he clearly didn't. Anyway, so we then get back to where he's just watching TV, and they're in the guard room and all this. And then I can't remember, they're watching something on TV. It might have been like the recap of his escape or something. And then they're like, Fleck, you got a visitor. And I'm expecting him to go out and it's like Harley and like she's going to break him out of jail.
Oh God, no.
And then like, okay, so then he brings him down this hallway and he's like, no, Fleck, hurry up. And they're bringing him down. And then this guy comes around the corner. And I don't remember exactly what happens, but do you remember the monologue he had before he shoots Murray? He's like, you get what you fucking deserve.
Yes.
So this guy starts making a joke about how the difference between this, that, and the other thing. And then Arthur, he tells him a joke and then he's like, okay, what is it? He's like, and then it ends with, you get what you fucking deserve. Stabs Arthur 6 times. He drops on the floor, bleeding out. The guy takes the blood and like, you're seeing this in the background partially. And Arthur isn't moving. The camera's focusing on Arthur, but blurred out in the background, you can see the guy like smiling and going like this and cackling like the Joker, as if to show now that guy's the Joker and Arthur's like, and it cuts out with a sly smile on his face. And that's life playing as it cuts away.
Kiona, you look pained.
So, did the movie go?
I didn't even like the first movie, so did
the movie go over my head, or was it just fucking stupid?
It's just fucking stupid. It's just not even worth. It's not worth seeing. It's not worth allowing this into my brain holes. It's not worth this fucking excuse of a studio wasting money. Batgirl was not worth releasing at all, but this piece of shit sure is.
This should have been the tax cut.
Not only that, but I'm like, and this is the one thing that kind of annoys me of Warner Brothers has been doing in recent years.
I am a guy who happily watches movies like Velocipaster. Stupid good is different, but I know you meant sarcasm. I had to bring that up, that I will openly watch bad movies for hilarity. I don't think I laughed once in this whole film. And give or take, the first one, there was 1 or 2 genuine laughs. When Arthur's gun accidentally pops out in the pediatric ward, I laughed till I cried. Or when he runs into the door randomly and the 2 cops are like, it's an outdoor. There's only 2 jokes in the whole film, but they land really well because it's that. And just go on. Sorry, go ahead.
No, but the thing, and they've kind of done this with like cartoons and stuff too, but Warner Brothers, you have to let the Heath Ledger Joker go. Heath Ledger's life and how it ended was just a tragedy. I'm like he was only 28. Like at this point, like he's almost been as gone as the amount of time he was on this earth. And just, to use, his like last, arguably like his most well-known role, as like a stupid fucking gimmick. Like, are you shitting me? And I'm like, I feel bad for his family because it's not actually like Heath Ledger, so they could get around using it. But it's like, you know what it is. Like,
are they saying that that's supposed to be the Heath Ledger Joker?
Here's the thing with the whole Heath Ledger thing. In the first movie, because they don't do anything to even try and make him like the Heath Ledger Joker in the second movie, they don't. In the first one, originally, they wanted to move the movie to end, and Chris Nolan axed this because he was still with WB and a big head up at that time. In the original movie, they wanted it to end with Arthur cutting his cheeks open in front of a mass of people. But they X-nayed it in the first movie because Nolan went, no, you're not doing that.
Thank goodness that he was able to do that. Oh.
But so on top of that, do you have any other stupidity we need to talk about before we talk about the comparison bias?
I don't know. My brain's kind of fried.
I can't even. And they set Harley back like about, or they tried to set Harley back like
here's
about
the
30
weird
years
thing about this. I actually thought they were going to do something cool because when there's multiple scenes where Arthur is talking about Harley and he's like, oh, she's this, she's that, she's the whatever. And then they're showing, and the guards are talking to him that actually get along with her. Like, no, she's using you. She's very smart. Her parents aren't dead. She lied to you. She got herself committed. She is not ill in the head. She is perfectly fine. I thought they were going to, for once, make a version of Joker and Harley where it was the other way around.
That would have actually been cool.
Exactly, where the Joker was the one being manipulated by Harley, and she was the one gaslighting him to do what she wanted. I'm like, that could have been an actively cool idea if they did it.
Yeah, and then they didn't. Fatal, but they didn't because
it's good because it is
because
review a film is good. I hate that. I hate this so much. That is the piss poor excuse of, and I'm around annoying to say this. This is just them going, well, I can't come up with a reason to be contrarian, so I'm just going to say it doesn't like its audience, so it's a masterpiece. You made a bad movie.
I mean, you cannot like your audience and it still being a big steaming pile of crap, which this, unless, we're just not getting something, whatever this version, the theatrical release, whatever the current version of the movie that is available is crap. I mean, sometimes a movie's just not good.
So, here's the thing though. Zaslav is all about like cutting down costs, right? He's all about trying to save the company and trying to this is what they say, right? Mm-hmm. Then goes and greenlights this and releases this. It's a massive waste of money.
Did he actually greenlight that? Like, I'm confused, but either way, I'm like, other than the other reasons why he shouldn't be in charge, like just on a business level, like he's picked nothing but losers.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And like, there's comments from other directors like, we're going to get into the comparison bias for shit like this. Like Francis Ford Coppola said he bigged up Todd Phillips for consistently being one step ahead of the audience and never giving them what they expect.
Oh, for
not giving them what they want is what you meant to say. But I don't remember if it was Coppola that said the same thing, but there was another director that basically said, hey, you'll get them next time, champ. Don't worry that this one did bad. It's not your fault. Now,
was that the Hollywood Reporter?
I don't remember who said it. I want to say it was another director. I don't remember who said it.
Because the Hollywood Reporter was like, hang in there, Todd Phillips. And it's like, oh, yeah.
It could have been them then. But then the Marvels bombed.
And it goes with that.
It was the ovaries that did it. That's what did it. It was the involvement of ovaries.
And also, how dare the director go on to the other job after this film was delayed well over a year and celebrate her birthday and not go to a screening that she wasn't required to be at?
And it's also like, how dare
how unprofessional.
How dare her not be at parts of the filming process that don't involve her? Like, what? And I'm sorry, I don't mean to be hate comparison here. I did not like The Marvels. The Marvels is a better movie than The Joker.
I liked it more than that piece of shit.
The Marvels is fun. I mean, is it a 10 out of 10? No. But I'm like, it's only 90 minutes, so it's whatever.
Should it have been Captain Marvel 2 essentially? No. I mean, for what it was basically Captain Marvel 2 is what I'm saying. It should have been a Captain Marvel 2. I think that would have made more sense, but instead they made it the Marvels, and that's fine.
Captain Marvel or Captain Marvel 2 wouldn't have mattered.
It wouldn't have.
They have the this is a stance that I'm never going to back off of. They have the worst Marvel movie villain ever in that film.
Yeah, because it was a nothing burger.
If that villain,
not the actress, I'm saying the character.
No, actress did fine. If they would have introduced that person in film 1, had her witness Carol not doing and not caring like they say this villain is bashing Carol for in film 2.
Yeah.
And then make her be big bad in film 3. That would make sense. But she just shows up, goes, "You did things I didn't like off screen."
Yeah.
And then the film happens.
No, but that's what I mean when I say it should have been a Captain Marvel 2, because it should have been like, it should have been more focused on that whole conflict as opposed to them bringing in everything, and it kind of muddied the waters a little bit. But still, yeah, it's a better film than this.
The villain.
This is far worse.
The villain is.
And
worse.
yeah, Dark World. Yeah.
Dark World. I at least had fun and laughed at. You know what Dark World had? Marvel didn't. Darcy.
Yeah. Yeah, you're not wrong.
That's fair.
People like to forget how great the supporting cast in Thor is. Darcy's one of the best characters Marvel has. I'm sorry. Yes, it is an excuse for me to look at Kat Dennings, but she's also a really good actress.
It's not a movie that I hate either. Dark World was not a movie that I actively hated either, but it's just that, like...
Oh, speaking of crimes, them canceling 2 Broke Girls is still, like, one of the top 10, like, worst things that's happened in the last decade.
Agree. That show was very, very good.
That show, that line, I can't think of what symptom of taking too long to make after the first one lost the Marvel Shuffle.
Exactly, Umbreon. I agree with you.
That one fucking scene, I can't remember the cook's name, but now I'm blanking on her character's name, the blonde.
It's been a while since I watched it, but it was really
funny. Anyway, someone starts choking in the... This is so dirty. Someone starts choking in the restaurant, and she goes, quick, what do I do when someone's choking? And the cook in the back goes, I normally back up a little.
Nice.
Like, that's fantastic. But okay. Anyway, so our next, I can't believe
that isn't
all right.
That is an utter piece of shit film, though. I gotta say, like, I'm frankly shocked.
Something that can fix films like that in the future. Some studios are now looking to take over actors' social media accounts with their consent to protect them from toxic behaviors. Security firms are also being hired to erase any personal info of talent online to ensure they don't get doxxed. This shouldn't need to be a thing. You shouldn't need to want to send death threats and dox someone because you didn't like a movie.
Yeah. But
once again, you could blame it all on Star Wars fans, because it's like the worst version of 6 Degrees of Kevin Bacon. Every bad thing in Hollywood, you could tie to fucking Star Wars fans.
Do you guys know the story of what happened when they turned Hal Jordan into Parallax in the comics? When Ron Mars, I believe, was the writer for that.
I remember that.
And like he turned, so Hal Jordan was, of course, Silver Age Green Lantern and all that stuff. And they were trying to, they were doing the thing at the time where Superman got killed by Doomsday, Batman got his back broken by Bane, and then like Green Lantern turned into just, Hal Jordan lost his city, lost everything, and basically drained all the power of the Guardians. Yeah, he drained all the power of the Guardians and became Parallax, became like a huge bad guy. And because of that, they introduced Kyle Rayner, who became the Green Lantern of the 90s, basically, and then and was a pretty awesome character in his own right.
My favorite Green Lantern.
Yeah, a lot of people's favorite Green Lanterns, and Green Lantern, and so basically what happened was the writer of the comic basically got a lot of death threats. So it's been going on from even before social media and stuff, but social media has only amplified it.
Oh, absolutely. I got to, this is not me bragging.
As you said.
I've said before that I got to go to a Comic-Con that Stan Lee was at. They had a panel that where, and I didn't know this detail, so I thought it was kind of cool, where, they killed Captain Stacy.
Yes.
And then like a few issues later, Gwen gets killed.
Uh-huh.
So apparently,
excuse me,
Stan Lee killed Captain Stacy and then went on vacation.
Yeah.
Came back to his fan mail and everything, filled with letters going, what in the hell is going on? And they're like, you killed Gwen Stacy? I just killed her dad. What are you people doing?
Yeah. Yeah. That happened.
And then not like in characters and stuff, when they make a phone line where you get to vote if you get to kill Jason Todd or not. Good God. Now, there are some people whose social medias, for the sake of their own good, probably should be taken over.
Probably.
But the problem is they're like, we're creating a whole firm to protect these people from stupid shit fans. Not, we should make an active environment to be better, to try and come up with problems to fix the mental instability of 80% of the human population. That's never the thing anymore. Now, this is similar to stand whichever way you want to on gun control. Even if you take them away, you're still going to have a cycle that's going to be able to get a hold of one. You're never going to fix gun violence until you fix humans. It's the same problem with social media, with everything. The human being is the essential problem in the equation every time. Yeah. And now we've made it to where, even though mental illness is a bigger thing, but free speech, shut up, free speech on Twitter was a mistake. But where we've come up with a big thing to where mental illness is a bigger problem now, except for the point of trying to actually deal with it. We'll identify it all day long, but we'll never actually want to, quantify a way to try and fix it. Now, I know there isn't a way to fix every mental disease. There's never a way where you're going to just have a hard stop. I have, and I don't know if I've said this, I have dysthymia, which is now more referred to as persistent depressive disorder, where you just basically have a low-hanging 10% of depression at all times, no matter what is going on in the day. And it's not going to take much to tick that puppy over. Now, you could be very good, and you don't ever spike in the good way, but you'll spike in the bad way. And I'm never getting rid of it. I could be medicated all day long, but I'm never getting rid of it. And there's just some of those where we should, I'm not saying we shouldn't protect people from being abused or harassed, but there needs to be a good amount of actual effort to solve the problem of where the abuse starts. And no one cares about that.
Because it doesn't make them money. And then you want to enable them saying, oh, we got to make, films for the fans. So the same people that are going to be fucking miserable shits and, harass people. I'm you're feeding into the problem.
Exactly. And you mentioned Erica Lindbeck earlier, she got chased off of Twitter because she said she didn't want someone using her voice in an AI for a YouTube project without her permission. They badgered her away because someone was trying to have fun, and you're a killjoy. Hey, sorry to tell y'all, earlier this year, I got to meet her. She might be the sweetest person I've met my entire life. You don't know shit about her. You've chased her off. Pretty sure the same thing happened to Erica Harlacker. There was another Erica that it happened to too, because there was a joke going around that 3 different Ericas got chased off of Twitter. But on today's episode, the internet was a mistake. Hey, Mike,
that's the name right there.
Right there, Mike.
That's
thank
the
you
name.
So much.
That's the name.
That is what that segment's going to be called from now on. The internet was a mistake. Thank you, Mike. My proponent coming up with almost everything that I need. Mike, you just made my day.
That's it.
The internet was the name. Mistake. There we go. Changing.
Good to see you, Mike.
Right fucking now, Mike. Good to see you, buddy. Anyway, so internet. No. I'm gonna make it. I'm gonna make it change it just slightly. Okay. Social media was a mistake. There we go. Social media was a mistake. All right. Anyway, so that's the main thing. Just we need to do better of actually solving where the problem comes from versus focusing on getting better at guarding where it's now. I'm not saying not focus on it, but actually have an effort both ways of where it's coming from versus where it's going.
Yeah, especially if the recent stuff, the Acolyte. Like, I don't give a shit like what you think about the show because that's not really relevant to this conversation. But like the fact that this studio's like not saying, "Hey, knock this shit out," like I'm like, you guys are enabling, and then you act like all surprised that get catering to fucking basement incel losers, doesn't work.
Like,
and they're stupid and have no good ideas.
Like the closest thing that I saw to this recently, and people told him that he was being a dick for the way that he said it, was Sean Layton. So I know that Kiona saw this. I reacted to it with him. Ghost of Yote got announced recently. And say it with me, kids. Ovaries are the problem. But so it's a woman now. And we don't like it because it's a woman.
Makes my pee-pee feel bad.
But so then Sean Layton used to be the head of PlayStation, goes, if you don't like it, don't buy the game.
Yes.
Don't harass people, just don't buy it. And then what does the internet turn that into, or social media? Good, I won't. And then it's good marketing
fuck
strategy.
off.
Like, good marketing strategy, dumbass. You just ruined the game. I'm like, no, he made an honest statement. He said, if you don't like something, you don't need to turn your entire personality into bashing it.
Well, that's the whole problem, really, is that we reward, people making their entire personality being like a grifter and like a hater. Like, we've made it into a fucking business.
Yeah, it's become a little cottage industry of its own.
Yeah, it's like I've said, good news does not make
for good
news. All right. Anyway, moving on from that. Gendy Tartakovsky says he pitched an animated Marvel series to Kevin Feige in the late 2000s that would have been similar to his Clone Wars series. They weren't interested, but it led to him helping on Iron Man 2.
Umbreon, you've mentioned the one that shall not be named.
Well, I'll mention it. Jeremy Griggs is a fucking dickhead. I'll mention it. I don't care. I'm part of the reason why that dumb asshole actually put himself onto the YouTube. He wasn't going to, and me and Mike are part of the problem of why he did. We're like, you're the head of the channel, you need to. And then immediately, that was a mistake.
Yeah, because, well, I mean, look, I thought he was a nice guy too. I didn't realize.
Yeah, so did we all, until I went to a state where I told him that I had suicidal thoughts. And then he's like, yeah, just take a break from the channel for a bit, man. You'll be good. You're coming back. And then I come back and he left me on red. The last thing I told him was that I was having suicidal thoughts and I was going to counseling. And scene at 8:03 is the last thing that I got from him. Ready to go back to work. Nothing. He's a great guy.
The fuck?
Yep. Yeah, we did, Mike. Yeah, we did. But it's okay. Now
I was a part of it too, and I regret it very much. But the early days
anyway,
very, very early days. Anyway, yeah. Regardless of that, yes.
Gendy almost had a Marvel series in the kin of Clone Wars. I think that could have been pretty sweet.
Wow, that would have been very cool. Honestly, I like Tartakovsky's work, so yeah, definitely would have been cool.
And it said it led to him helping on Iron Man 2.
On Iron Man 2? Really?
I don't know.
On Iron Man 2?
I guess maybe being a board artist or
maybe. That's cool.
Maybe. Because unless like he was the one that like, rotoscoped Whiplash's bird. Like, I don't know.
Your board.
He was a storyboard artist.
I want my board. Give me my board.
My board.
My board.
We're going to talk about not well-used characters. Sam Rockwell needs to be back in Marvel immediately. He's the most just cast aside great side character they've ever had.
Your bird? You want your bird?
He does not get the credit that he deserves whatsoever. He's freaking amazing. Anyone who's not seen Seven Psychopaths, go watch it.
I love
reason why, because he was very good at his job.
The absolute dick character that was Justin Hammer, but it was like it was brilliant at the same time. His portrayal, I think he nailed it so well. The smarminess,
it's so good.
Great, so great,
so good.
Yeah.
All right. So, this is a thing that I literally put in here because I wanted to hear Mike's thoughts on it, but I guess he can comment on it. They were. I forgot that Elon's in that movie.
Oh yeah.
Oh my god! Yeah,
I forgot. Didn't Tony tell him to like fuck off too?
I don't remember what he says. He like offers them a business deal. They're just like in a cafe. They don't really say much to each other.
Yeah, no, and he walks away, ignores him, and he's like, bye.
All right.
Yeah.
This next thing I kind of basically had for Mike, but it is a big deal because there's not a person in their lives that didn't hear growing up Next Time on Dragon Ball Z. Doc Harris, the legendary Dragon Ball Z English narrator, has passed away.
Oh my god, yeah.
That sucks.
That sucks.
I mean, I like Hey Bear, what he did for like the Funimation dub, but yeah, I part of the reason why Dragon Ball finally became popular in the West was because of the Canadian dub.
Mm-hmm.
And I kind of feel like some of that, I mean, more recent Dragon Ball stuff is thankfully like a lot better on the English sidewise, but yeah, just there was something about, you know, it's over 9,000. Like so many of the things that are like distinctive about Dragon Ball was originally from the Canadian dub.
From the Canadian dub. That's the one that I hear in my head whenever I think about it, honestly, because that was when I was watching Dragon Ball, was when they had the Canadian dub on like Toonami and stuff. Early Toonami.
Ryan Drummond. It's over 9,000.
I love how no one says it how he does. Everyone turns it into like a gothic battle cry when he says it pretty normally.
The Ocean dub. Yeah.
Yeah.
Man, I'm sad that Ocean doesn't really do as much anime anymore because their shit was like always like just chef's kiss.
We lost Toriyama.
It was really funny. Oh my god. You're right.
I'm thinking about that timeline correctly.
Yeah.
But
there is a slightly more happy Dragon Ball story.
Okay.
All right. So the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade's getting an updated Goku balloon for Dragon Ball 40th, and it's going to be normal Goku, not the Super Saiyan Blue.
Nice. All right. So
when?
Now, moving on to my new favorite thing. From now on, we are going to have social media was a mistake. And we're all going to put a thing in.
I'm totally going to make an intro video for social media is a mistake.
I know. At some point, we're going to make it. And I can bring it up.
I have to become a feature on your YouTube channel.
Yes. But so each week, if you find something, we're going to throw them into there. And then we're going to let the audience watching and in the comments decide which was the stupidest. So this week on Social Media Was a Mistake, Alana Pierce uploaded a video to her Facebook page. Or no, to her YouTube page. About how she is an average size girl. Are you guys talking about a focus group of fans to discuss future IP projects? No, that might be interesting. Anyway, so the video was titled that technically Alana Pierce is objectively obese.
What does that even mean?
There was a bunch of comments of who I'm going to assume are all incels. Were going around. Any of you do not know who Alana Pierce is. Absolutely.
What?
Who is an absolute sweetheart.
Yeah,
and
just what?
And is in very good shape.
Yes.
Small, not exactly a stick, but she's skinny.
No.
There was a lot of comments going around about what women's weight should be, and that the overwhelming number that were on a number of comments was no woman should weigh 130 pounds because they are objectively obese.
Like 130 pounds is fucking nothing.
Alana at one point was 160 because she was preparing for that fight she had with I can't think of her name from Critical Role, and she still looked fine. There's nothing wrong, but now they're talking about how it's bad for your health. It's all this, and then she went on to this big tirade of like showing one of Taylor Swift's backup dancers. He's a bigger guy, probably weighs around, I'd say, just shy of 200 pounds, if not at least. And he's dancing for 3 hours straight, not breaking a sweat, doing fine. But yet that guy's going to be considered obese and should lose weight. And the big thing is just like, what are you actually talking about when now everyone has to be stick skinny to be healthy? Just like, what are we actually getting to now? 130 pounds for a woman is objectively obese? What? I almost fell out of my fucking chair when I saw the video. Any comments, anything? I can hear grass growing right now.
Can people just shut the fuck up and mind their own fucking business and get out of other people's fucking
No, because people
refrigerators
have
or shit or whatever?
Could not believe this. People just need to accept that everyone is just a little hypocritical. A little?
A little.
I weigh 175. I probably should weigh around 190. If you're upset that, and this is not to say whatever, the skinny, whatever. If you're upset that me at 6'2", if you found a woman that was my size and you're upset, I'm gonna bring back an oldie but a goodie. You don't deserve women.
You better be making those shirts, dude.
You don't deserve anyone. You don't deserve anyone. You deserve to be your stupid ass little. Oh, don't get me started, okay?
And then they're like, "Why do women like me?"
Yeah, I can't imagine why. That was another thing though that Umbreon brought up. That there was one guy that I saw on TikTok talking about objective attractiveness. About how the thing that happens with a lot of guys is that you're only considered attractive if you're so tall.
Yeah.
So and I can't remember what the guy's name is, and he did this to be a dick, but to make a point. Where he would be going around, he's like, now, does the guy have to be tall to be considered attractive? He would go, yes. He would do one of two things. He would bring out a scale just to be a dickhead and throw it on the ground, and the woman would walk away. Or he would go, well, what's this for? And he's like, you're measuring a guy's attractiveness. That's something that he can't control. And then he would bring out wet wipes and say, let me wash the makeup off your face. And they go, no, I'm not doing that. That doesn't matter. That's not the same thing. He's like, no. You get to put that on freely. The guy doesn't choose how tall he is. This objective attractiveness horse shit goes back to this. She's objectively obese. This is the stupidest shit, even worse than this, that I've heard ever.
Okay. So here's the thing though, okay? I can't articulate this as well as someone like Red or like, who is my friend and who we have talked about this sort of thing on her streams and stuff like that, like so-called objective attractiveness, whatever the fuck. First of all, we're all human. We all have different, perspectives on that. But I feel like in terms of what we find attractive, we all have different tastes, right? But the thing of it is that I feel like, I was bullied and I was teased for being overweight my whole entire fucking life. Okay. And like this stuff gets under my skin a lot because it's like, it's so obnoxious. And listen, I was, in a situation where like all throughout high school, all throughout everything, I was not found like nobody really found me like attractive. And that might have been because of how I looked. It might have been more because of my personality, because I wasn't very open with people. And I wasn't very, I wasn't like a confident person, and I wasn't comfortable within myself. And I think that's even worse, because it's like, that sort of thing. It doesn't really matter what size you are. It doesn't, people who are like, vilify the very concept of false, so that everything has to be an extreme. Yes, you're right, Umbreon. Exactly that. Yep. But you see, like, it's a societal issue as well at large. It's not just a social media issue. It's a societal issue, because they teach you're taught that from a very young age. And it's part of the reason why I hated myself for my whole fucking life, is the fact that I was not conventionally whatever, desirable, whatever you want to say. But it's like, now I hang out with people that doesn't matter so much. And it's helped me to do away with that sort of thing, that sort of societal pressure of like, certain a person has to look a certain way in order to be considered attractive, because I was brought up in that, and I hated myself for not looking that way. And so it transferred into me, liking a certain thing because I was told to like that thing, if that makes sense. And it's like, I just think that people just need to stay the fuck away and just like shut up. Just shut up. Do what you want with your life. If you want to be, whatever it is that you want to be, then fine. Do it. Don't hurt other people. Don't hurt other people, because you don't know what the fuck they're going through, and you don't know what they're dealing with, and you don't know how much they've struggled. So yeah. I think this whole idea of so-called objective attractiveness is stupid, because we all have different perspectives on that. We all have different tastes. There's no such thing as that. And people just need to shut the fuck up about it. Because you can have a person who is like you can have a person who is like, who would be considered obese, what have you. And they live a long life, a long fulfilled life. And then you can have a person who's like dieted their whole lives and their whole life, and who has like done exercise their whole life and stuff, and they drop dead at 35. Huh? You know what I mean? So it's I don't even buy that whole thing where they say like, oh, it's a health issue or whatever. I mean, unless it's like, if you want to talk about that, that's a whole nother conversation. But I think that like, in terms of what we find attractive and everything like that, I don't think there is an objective attractiveness. I think that's bullshit that is manufactured by society, by social media, by people that stand to make some kind of profit off of it, whatever that be, mind share, whatever have you, money. I think people just need to shut the fuck up. And Alana Pierce is a beautiful freaking woman. She's tall, she's attractive, she's just, yeah, she's beautiful. She's smart, she's articulate. And by all means, by all the things that I have seen, she's a very sweet person. So honestly, it's fine.
Absolutely. Yeah, she absolutely is. I love Alana Pierce. That's why I was brought up. I'm like, are we really saying this? Is this what we're doing? But yeah, and that's one of those things where I've openly like recently found out that I think a six-pack on a chick is kind of attractive. If I told someone else that, they would think I was a fucking moron. And like other ways of thinking of stuff like that, they're just, I can't get over how people just can't be okay with someone else being the way that they are, at all. No, like if someone literally can't get out of their house, I'd be like, hey, what's going on, buddy? Let's talk.
Well, that's
like that's where it actually becomes like health issues.
That's like a sign of something maybe a little bit deeper seated that you would have to address.
Where it becomes a mindset where something's actually wrong that is going to cause them to like be in a bad state. Yes. But you're going to have things like that aren't involved with looks, which is another thing. I'm telling you right now, there was a lot of girls that I went to school with that had the looks of Scarlett Johansson and the personality of a fucking fence post. I wouldn't date you if you tried.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
It's like I've always told people where I've had, not saying I've had a lot of it, but had a good amount of dating experience to where I've had pretty attractive women attempt to date me, and I was not interested. And I got made fun of by the guys in my groups because I waffled around friend groups from goths to jocks to hicks to the whole shit because I was just kind of like filtered. As long as you got along with me, I really didn't care what you were into. I wasn't like a only this thing. Like, your life would be getting better if you're getting laid. And like, if you just had that, I'm like, no, because at some point, those parts aren't going to work as well. And I'm going to be stuck with that person's personality. And I'm not having that. Sorry. I need to like that person. I don't care how well other things look. Sorry. It just doesn't work that way.
Yeah.
And
exactly.
if you're judging life otherwise, then I think you got your priorities backwards.
Yep.
Because you're married to that person. You're not married to their sex drive. Because I'm sorry, even after a while, the pills stop working. And if you can't love them because you can't have sex with them, you never loved them. What was I believe it was a Taylor Tomlinson quote. Love is blind, lust is Helen Keller.
Oh my God. Oh my goodness.
That's harsh, but that's true. But yeah, God, she's so good. Yeah, I love Taylor Tomlinson. Taylor Tomlinson you saw her live. I'm jealous. I would love I think
she's pretty good. She's pretty funny.
I'm so proud of her for how
Very
good
funny.
she's doing. But yeah, so that was the first part of a waffle between its internet or social media was a mistake. But yeah, anytime you can get one entry, just one, into
on
that
the Hall of Shame.
On the Hall of Shame for each week. And you don't have to find one. It's just that if you find one, you only get one to throw into the bucket to see who had the best one.
I try to actively avoid that part of Twitter, but I shall see if anything pops up.
Oh, you don't have to. It's just like even if it's just Twitter or whatever, you find something and you're just like, that might be the dumbest thing I ever fucking heard.
I mean, like, this is why I limit the amount of time that I'm on. And like half the time I'm just kind of like chuckling. Like, I don't even like engage with this shit like anymore, to be honest, because it hurts my brain so much and it's just like waste of time. And I'm like what? Like, I just don't understand the appeal of just making a complete total ass of yourself. But hey, it's free content.
Hey, some people like to think they're not doing that. Like a woman at my work the other day that tried to convince me that her digestive tract led directly into her vagina. And then told me I was wrong because I didn't have one, so I didn't know how it worked.
That's not how that works.
No, trust me, I was wrong. This is a person that has 2 children.
I was going to say something, but I'm not, because I think I answered my own question.
All right, that's enough internet for me.
Agreed. I agree.
Oh, don't worry, Umbreon, it gets better because that same person also, after the sub crashed, this same person who I was stuck with in a van going back and forth from work because we had to like help get our other plant that we started ready to go. So we were stuck going back and forth for a while because it was like a 45-minute trip there and back. We were talking about the sub, and then this person piped in and I went, oh boy, I can't wait for the nugget of knowledge he's about to drop. And then they go, so I just don't understand how we don't like look at the subs and then like study animals that live in that like lower terrain and like see how they survive and then adapt off of that. And I was like, that's an actual honest to God smart statement. I'm like, wow. And then 0.5 seconds later, she goes, that's why all the dinosaurs went down there. They just live on the bottom of the ocean now.
Kiona, looks like you're about to become the Joker.
And that van went dead silent. We're just like, all of the dinosaurs? I'm like, they all just decided, no, peace, we're going in the ocean, and all of them? What? Huh?
Well, first of all, technically like dinosaurs that are still around are like the bird ones. Those are like land creatures. Dinosaurs.
No, they went in the ocean. You're wrong. They all went in the ocean.
And they're friends with SpongeBob.
Then we learn nothing from Dr. Grant.
Anyway.
It all comes back to Jurassic Park.
Yeah, no, but for real, like if you look at like
just going.
No, but straight up, if you look at a cassowary or like an ostrich, like literally that's just straight up like just a shrunken down bald T-Rex.
They're not in Austria. They're not in Siberia. They're in Australia, Heisers. Get it straight. But yeah, anyways, that's all I got. I can't wait for more future such. At some point, I'm going to tell y'all the 3 top blonde stories with my sister Jenna.
You know what we need to do is we need to make a graphic of like our Hall of Shame, like make an actual hall and just have like little Post-it notes just stuck up, like not framed, just like little Post-it notes.
We can. I'd be very okay with that. But let's get the hell out of here. Free. Where can everybody find you?
Well, regrettably, you can find me at Crazy Lemur on Twitter, at Lemur's Rule 1 on Instagram, I think. There's some variation of a lemur because at 8 years old, Disney's dinosaur fucking changed my brain chemistry, and it's just been a downward spiral ever since.
Kiana, where can everybody find you?
You can find me on that magical place known as Twitter, formerly known as Twitter, at Neoplasmic24, on Instagram and Threads at Neoplasmic81, RenegadePopCulture.com, of course, and you can also find me on Twitch.tv/Neoplasmic. I did stream a little bit earlier today, and at the time of this recording, and also started up a Discord server as well, which you can find the link to that on my Twitch channel.
I'm there too.
Yeah, we're both there. And so is Mike. Happy to have you. So
and you can find me everywhere at Organoid0, mainly on Twitch and YouTube. I'm currently playing through Alan Wake, and then it's going to be basically all Life is Strange until the end of October when Horizon comes out. And then I'll finally be playing the original Horizon on a Twitch channel that is not owned by a sexist douchebag. Anyway, so that's all for the podcast this week. We will see you all later. Bye.